I've told you guys severally that once an opposition party says something, the ruling party would have to react to it. Last week, Nigel Farage stated that he does not want ILR to be in existence anymore. He wants it to be scrapped entirely. So Nigel Farage is the leader of the Reform Party. So when he made that, strong statement, the Labour Party has just said what they have to say about ILR. In fact, they have stated some points, 5 particular sections or things that you need to have. Now, it will form the point-based system, and I felt I should share this with you. If you watch this video to the end, I will also share with you the contents of this article that states whether it will be applied retrospectively for those people who are already on a skilled worker visa, and if you're from Hong Kong or Ukraine, whether it will affect you or not. I hope you all know that we have a new Home Secretary, Shabana Mahmood. I've shared that on this channel. If you are new to this channel, just know that I share content about immigration news, how it affects you, how it affects you getting your indefinite leave to remain or your work, and also if it will affect you towards getting your British citizenship. If this interests you, please watch this video till the end. Hello everybody, my name is Cynthia. I share information that will help your transition abroad to be as smooth as possible. I share information about settling, working, or studying in the UK. If you're interested in any of these, then subscribe to this channel, turn on your notification bell so that each time I drop a new video, you'll be amongst the first people to see that video. And if you need help getting a visa sponsorship job, maybe need someone to help you optimize your CV, cover letter, supporting information, or personal statement, then reach out to me. The link will be in the description as well as in the comments. And without wasting time, let's get into this video. This article was published by the Telegraph, and I felt, yeah, let's just go into this article and see all the conditions that you need to meet to get your ILR. This is a proposal by Shabana Mahmood. According to them, it says migrants will have to contribute or leave Britain. So this is a reaction to what we have been listening to since last week. It says here that right to settle will be dependent on not claiming benefits, Shabana Mahmood to declare to Labour conference. Now here it says that migrants' right to settle in the UK will be dependent on them not claiming benefits. Shabana Mahmood will declare on Monday. So this article was published by Telegraph on Sunday, and they said with the Labour conference going to take place on Monday, which is today, that this is what she's going to say. Maybe she prepared this particular draft and sent it to them and said, hey, this is what I'm going to talk in the Labour conference, and maybe that Labour conference will not be made public. I don't know whether it will be made public, but this is what she has as an agenda for what is going to happen to people who want to get ILR moving forward. It says in her speech to the Labour conference as Home Secretary, Ms. Mahmood will say that migrants must show that they contribute to society in order to settle permanently in the UK. Now it says under the proposed reforms, ILR, which is indefinite leave to remain, will depend on, I told you these are the 5 key areas. Paying national insurance, it means you have to be working. Supporting oneself without claiming benefits, it means that you don't take benefits at all, which is always one of the criteria anyway with ILR. A clean criminal record, of course, this has always been there. But the new item they introduced this time around is volunteering in the community and speaking English to a high standard. I know that speaking English to a high standard has always been there, but not to the extent that they want to introduce. In the white paper, they said they were going to increase the requirements, and for dependents, that you don't need to provide that, but they want to introduce that for dependents. So they are not even segregating and saying, hey, if you are somebody that is married to a British citizen, or as in married to someone that has ILR, that you are going through the spouse visa route or anything. She just spoke generally. This is what is stated. But we don't know yet whether it will apply to those people who are married to British citizens or people who, are dependents of the main applicants. But this is what they are saying. Migrants will have to wait 10 years rather than the current 5 years before being able to claim ILR unless they are making a particularly significant contribution to society, whether financially or through voluntary or charity work. This is a new criteria. I'm not shocked seeing this aspect of voluntary and charity work, because they kept saying that you have to be a net contributor towards the UK economy and society. So I knew that, something like this, charity, would be involved. It says that under the new point system, migrants who fall short in some of the categories could be forced to wait longer than 10 years. So some of the categories, guys, that's what they are saying. It says that those who make little or no contribution would need to rely on benefits or break the law, face removal from the UK when their existing visa comes for renewal. So if you're on a skilled worker visa, or maybe you're not on any visa at all, maybe you're a dependent, and they do that point-based system and you don't have any contribution, or you have little contribution, then they will tell you to leave the UK. In fact, they are saying that if you break the law, or if you rely on benefits, we don't know. Anyway, we don't know. There are just a lot of things that are not so complete about this. There are so many questions that I have in mind now, but this article does not actually clarify everything. It says leave to remain must be earned. That's what they have always been saying. Currently, most migrants who come to Britain on time-limited work or family visas can make an application for ILR after 5 years. Eligibility is primarily based on the length of time spent in the UK rather than economic and social benefits to the country. Okay, so we know that not really. If you're under a skilled worker visa, you want to apply for ILR, is still your income kind of matters, though they don't put a stipulated amount. There is a particular amount for each occupation. If you meet that, then you get that. But if it's for spouse visa, your income also matters. But I don't know what they mean by this. Your income matters, but it's more like your household income matters, not your individual income matters. And for different categories of visas, there are different requirements. It is understood that Ms. Mahmood will set out that ILR must be earned. We've been hearing that since. It says a source said some, based on their contribution or skill, could earn earlier settlements. Others who have made a lesser contribution will only earn leave to remain later or not at all. So you can stay in this country, work, I don't know, and then you don't get anything at all if you don't meet some of the requirements that they have, on the point-based system. And they will stipulate what is required, how many points you need to get to be able to get through, or something like that. It also says that Ms. Mahmood will say, I am looking at how to make sure that settlement in our country, long-term settlement, indefinite leave to remain, is linked not just to the job you are doing, the salary you get. So that minimum salary threshold is what scares me a lot. I've told you guys that I'm really scared about this when it comes to care workers, because they are on the minimum wage. So they said the salary you get. I hope they don't say, oh, if you are earning so amount, then you can get it. If you're not earning up to this, you will not get it. I hope so. The taxes you pay, guys, the taxes you pay, that's what scares me the most. Whether you are paying taxes or not, and how much you're paying. I hope there is no threshold for that. Also, the wider contribution you make to our communities. So I know that if you join a charity, it will be an advantage. This is your sign. Go and join a charity. Go and work in different funds, like the field. I don't know. Just go and sort this out. You have to know that this is the UK. Charity is so important to them. If you watch TV, you notice that there is no celebrity that does not belong to one or two charities, or more safe. So it is part of their tradition, charity. But I know for us, we are different. We actually contribute naturally in charities, but it's not in an organized way like this. We are more, giving. I don't know what culture you are from, but this is our culture. We give. We mustn't be in an organization like that. It says here that Sir Keir Starmer said on Sunday that Mr. Farage's policy was racist and would tear our country apart, as it would lead to the deportation of people lawfully working in hospitals or schools or running businesses. I do think that it's a racist policy. I do think it's immoral. It needs to be called out for what it is, he said. Ms. Mahmood's plan form part of a broader effort to ensure state handouts are focused on those willing to contribute to the society. In a separate speech, Rachel Reeves, you know Rachel Reeves now, the Chancellor, yeah, you know her, will say that young people who turn down a job after 18 months on benefits face being stripped of their state handouts. You know that they are battling this thing that 10 million people of working age are on benefits. I told you now, 639,000 graduates are on benefits. So you know that this is what Britain is battling. 24 million people received one or mixed types of benefits, and 13 million of them are on state pension. So 10 million, which is a large number of working age, and they're on benefits. So they're looking for how can these people get back to work. They've tried that welfare cuts, but it triggered a lot of things. But right now they are saying the new thing that they will introduce is if you turn down a job after 18 months on benefit, face being stripped of your state handout. So if you're on 18 months, you're on benefits, and they give you a job and you say, no, I don't want to do it, you turn it down, then they will cut off your benefits entirely. Guys, what do you think about this? Labour's migration proposals are closer to those of Tories, who announced in February that migrants would be entitled to ILR after 10 years only if they are net contributors to the UK economy by earning more through their work than they cost to the state. And remember that it was Kemi Badenoch that made that announcement through the Tories, that's the Conservative Party, that they want ILR to be 10 years and then 5 years again before you get your British citizenship. Remember, Kemi Badenoch said that. But now they are saying details of the requirements for ILR will be spelled out in a consultation later this year. They keep saying later this year. When will it be? We are in the fourth quarter. Okay, we are about to enter the fourth quarter of this year. I'm wondering when it will be. Once it is out, I'll share this with you. It says that they are expected to be retrospective in forcing hundreds of thousands of migrants who entered the UK during the so-called Boris wave to face waits longer than the 5 years they have had expected for ILR. It's going to be retrospective, according to this article. You are seeing it here. I'm not the one that's saying it. It's going to be retrospective, and we know retrospective means those people who are already on the pathway that have not gotten the ILR, moving forward, when they announce the dates and they go through the public consultation, they'll now say, okay, now moving forward, if you submit an application for ILR, you'll be affected. So that's what it means. You know, that is what I'm seeing here, guys. They are after the Boris wave. It says here that groups such as Hong Kongers and Ukrainians who fled the UK on official schemes will be exempt from the new 10-year rule. So it will not affect them. It's going to affect people on the skilled worker visa and other pathways, but not this particular pathway, because they have a special type of visa or official scheme for them. And it says here that Ms. Mahmood is understood to be concerned about the potential impact of the Boris wave, with forecasts suggesting 810,000 foreign nationals will be seeking ILR by 2040. And it says here that nearly 8 in 10, that's 78% of, or 627,000 of the 800 and they made a mistake now. It's meant to be 810,000 currently expected to get IRL are earning below or significantly below the UK average salary of 37,430. And we know carers are earning below that. There are some doctors that are earning below that too. So I hope she's not going to, segregate between care workers and people who are not carers. Ms. Mahmood is thought likely to set the bar low on which criminal offenses will merit rejection for ILR. It is unlikely to include motoring offenses. Maybe if you ran the red light or something like that, they won't include it. It says there will be a tier leading to outright disqualification and a lower category of offense carrying a penalty of years delaying their eligibility for ILR. Guys, she said, we need legal migration. It is a good thing. We are a country that has always welcomed people who want to come and work here, Ms. Mahmood will say. But in addition to living and working here, there is a bigger thing to do as well, which is to make sure people are making a contribution to their wider community and wider society. And then they ended with this. They said in an interview with The Sun, Ms. Mahmood drew on the example of her parents who moved to Birmingham from Kashmir in the 1960s. They didn't just come to work, they settled, they made a contribution to the local community. They were volunteers, they got involved in local politics. She said they did more than simply work and earn salary. Guys, go and join a charity, go and volunteer. That's all I can say. They feel that that is a sign that you are integrating into the society. So find a charity or two, join. If you can run a marathon, then go ahead. If you can do anything, just go ahead and do this. I've just summarized what she has said. There are just 5 major points that you need to consider when you want to submit your ILR application in the future, and also depends on when they actually implement it. The 5 major aspects: national insurance, criminal record, English language, volunteering for any society, and the last point is not claiming benefits. I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.